Hi, Ming. You're on the air.
Hello, Christy. Hello, Sexuality. Hello, Michelle.
Howdy. How can we help you tonight?
So based on what Serafina represent about, there are a lot of varieties among people, and also when you mention Tinder, so I wonder if you think that there is something called sexual racism.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the verbiage is a little different because racism refers specifically to people's race. But if you're asking if people are discriminated against because of their gender, because of their sexuality, because of their orientation and these different things, is that at the heart of what you're meaning?
No. What I mean is like if you see a lot of ads on let's say Drive, for example, a lot of people will post something like no black, no Asian, no long hair, no feminine, no black, etc. And immediately people say that is racism because you somehow exclude the other group because they don't fit your category of attraction. But I mean that if attraction is somehow hardwired in our brain, then how can we think that is racism? That's thing I don't really understand.
That's a complicated one, and I tend to come at it from two directions. One, yes, you can't really necessarily control who or what you're attracted to. That's normal. Two, who we are attracted to and what we are attracted to also is affected by what we absorb from our culture and the ideas that we have. And so, like, I wouldn't want to say, oh, hey, you're a racist because you said this. But I would want someone who is saying that to look at what the ideas are culturally and internally that may be causing those preferences. Because a lot of times when you look at it, what you find behind that is stereotypes that are ingrained, that aren't true, for one thing. But even beyond that, it comes from what we've absorbed about someone, and just because of their race or because of their weight or whatever. And so racism can take a part in our sexual preferences. But at the same time, I don't want to like shame someone for your preference. I just want to make people aware that there are influences on your preferences.
Yeah, so let's make that real, right? If somebody sets up a account on, say, like onlyasians.com or like some dating website that's specifically set up to for particularly white people, frankly, but for somebody who's maybe outside of a particular race or culture to be connected to somebody from a particular race or culture, if you're setting up that Only Asians account because you assume or believe that every woman you meet is going to be thin and demure and very subservient, these different things, that we can categorically say is racism, and that's wrong and that's hurtful. Are we comfortable with saying that websites like this shouldn't exist and are categorically bad?
Moderately comfortable.
I can play the Jeopardy tune, or we can. Yeah. So, Ming, you've raised an interesting question that I think is challenging in a lot of ways.
I think, oh, go ahead.
Sorry, Michelle. Go ahead.
I would say that.
Yeah.
We're gonna play this game all night. You go first.
Yeah. Sorry, Michelle. So the thing the problem I see is that I'm Asian myself. And I know a lot of, gay guys, Caucasian people will not be attracted to me. And it's simply the fact that when I look at the profile of these people, the commonalities among them is that they are attracted to people who have, like broad shoulder or, big muscular body or deep voice, blue hair, blue eyes, blonde hair, etc. And when I look at myself, I see, okay, I have double eyelids, I have high nose, but I have pretty good shaped body, but I don't have the category that fits the attraction like profile of those guys sit for. And apparently, on the media, a majority of Asian people are presented in a way like they have flat nose, or they are mono eyelid, or they're skinny, or they are feminine, etc. So of course, it will play into the stereotype that the majority of Caucasian on the media present as really like uber masculine type of people.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't blame them for saying that I don't want Asian people, because a majority of Asian represented on the media tend to fit the profile they don't attracted to. And so of course, if they are more exposure to Asian people who who are really tall and who have fair skin, or double eyelid or high nose, and of course, probably they may be attracted to those guys. So I feel like the term racism applies to those are not fair to white men, and I speak it as a minority. So yeah, that's how I see it.
Yeah, we have an unfortunate correlation in our culture with the idea that if someone if there is racism present, it's only because someone has an intentional racism, instead of the fact that it's actually all around us in our society and it's affecting us whether we like it or not.
Constant and implicit and ingrained in so many different places. What were you saying, Michelle?
Oh, well, I was going to say, let's say you could talk to me at the end of my life, and I reflect on my life and say, okay, I never dated a black woman. I could not ethically sit for myself, in my current state, say I would never date a black woman. It just because if I could project towards the end of my life and say, well, that never happened, I should still be open to people, regardless of their race. But I can appreciate people who think that they know what they're attracted to, but they're excluding so many humans that are awesome.
Yeah. How often do we find ourselves saying, this is my new so-and-so, I'm incredibly excited, not my usual, And we end up believing in these narratives, and we have these self-identities of, well, I'm only attracted to people who are this particular height, this weight, that, they have to absolutely love Joss Whedon movies, like these dumb things. And then somebody crosses our path, and maybe we really feel drawn to them, even though on paper they're not checking off any of those boxes. So I guess if I'm not misinterpreting what you're saying, it's about staying open to experience and sort of accepting that somebody who may not be what you expected might be everything that you're looking for.
Yeah, precisely.
Right? Right? Yeah.
Put it very eloquently. Now, I'm curious if you are, are they people that you're approaching who say that they're not attracted to you, or vice versa, people who, I guess if they approach you, then they hopefully would be attracted to you.
No, Michelle. I don't do online dating, but just my observation. And when I look at myself and the type of people I'm attracted to, for example, let's take Jamie and Eric from Talk Haven.
Two very lovely gentlemen hosting another show on the ACA network.
So I can tell you right now, and I hope it will not offend Jamie. When I look at Jamie, he's not the type of guy that I'm really into. It's not that I'm telling myself I don't like him. But I guess even though Jamie and Eric are both Caucasian, but that doesn't mean I like all white men, right? But something about Eric that I guess more appealing to me because of the way he looks or the way he talks.
It's the dulcet tones of his voice.
Yes, exactly. I guess so.
I hope he's watching this.
Well, I think
people...
Go ahead.
Yeah, when I look at other Asian guys I'm attracted to, they tend to have similar features like Eric. So they're more like lighter skin tone, or maybe a bit like honey skin tone, and they tend to be double eyelid like I am, and they tend to be have a higher nose, for example, or they may be some sort of their manner or something that appeal to me. So it's not like I'm only attracted with people because of their race, or because certain race, ethnicity tend to have physical characteristics that appealing to me. So from that observation, I make the conclusion that perhaps those guys on Grindr or Tinder are not really racist. They just tend to be more into people who have the physical characteristics that fit their attraction. That's just how I...
Yeah, and I think that the statistics bear that out. The co-founder of, I want to say, Match.com, I hate to say things without having the reference, but published a book where he talked about some of the analytics that they've discovered and recognized that, yeah, people are very, very drawn towards particular races that generally reflect their own. And he talked about how people of particular races were much more or much less likely to get likes or matches or these different things. And we can talk about what goes into that and why that happens. And we could be here all day and all night trying to suss all of that out. I think the takeaway is that everybody be open to different experiences, that they continue to be kind and compassionate towards everybody that they come across, and that they feel comfortable recognizing that a lot of these assumptions are based on that implicit messaging, these racist ideals that are all over our life and that we may not even realize that we have. So we may not identify, oh, I'm not attracted to that person because I'm racist. We may just not be attracted to that person because our dad made an offhanded comment when we were 8 years old that told us that we shouldn't be, and we hold on to it for entirely too long. So like Sarah said, we don't necessarily need to judge ourselves for our attractions and the things that pass between our ears, but we do want to be critically thinking about those things and constantly self-evaluating and examining our own lives. So I hope that helps sort it out a little bit, but definitely this is not a question with an answer, really.